Oh, yes. Welcome aboard. It is time to have a little fun here on the show. Coming to you live, baby, from Toyota of Hollywood. Yes, sir. We are ready to rock and roll here on the show. Back on YouTube, which is nice. After we still have our Amiibo issues, by the way. Still doing that. We just got around it for now. And so that's why we kind of got what we're doing right now. And you can see it there as we are going to be with you here for a couple of hours, have some fun. We'll have Brian Flores' press conference in a few minutes, and we'll carry that for you at 11:10, I think. Well, usually he's a little earlier than normal. You know, Brian Flores is one of those guys that is more than punctual, actually. So we'll get into that in just a few moments. We'll be out here for a few hours, actually. We'll be here till 3 o'clock, having a good old time and driving away. There we go, which is beautiful.
What are you holding?
I'm holding a steering wheel cover.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. Yes, even with my Invisaligns in place, which is beautiful.
I think they're helping you with
that. Or maybe it's just you screw it up so much that you finally get it right, you know, and you start, you know.
So are you ready to
screwing
jump
it up.
to Sally Sauce Saturday?
No, definitely not. I am definitely not ready for that. But anyway, last night, I was here last night. I was here till late at night, hanging out with my man Herbie and Eddie and all the great people out here, Mike, here at Toyota of Hollywood, having a good old time. I did finally make my decision. I got a Camry. I got an XSE, which is
a bad ass.
Yes, it's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
it is beautiful. It was like riding a spaceship on the way home. Is the way it felt. I already got 100 miles on it. All the driving yesterday, going back and forth. I already hit on the way here. I hit 100 miles.
You have 100.
Seriously? Yeah, I got it with it had 10 when I did the test drive, and now it's got 100. Yeah. So yeah, that's how. But it was a pleasure-filled 100 miles driving that car. That was absolutely awesome. Anyway, so we're out here for a few hours. Obviously, we'll have Brian Flores press conference. An amazing win last night for the Miami Heat to go to Philadelphia. I finished watching that game like around 1 a.m. because I got home late after I bought the car and got home to watch the game itself. The good thing about that is you get to kind of you speed through the commercials and the halftime and all that. So you kind of watch it pretty fast. You know what I mean? Which is a beautiful thing. So last night, 108-104, Sixers started off hot. And then Miami went on that, I don't know what it was, 26-something run or whatever it was in the second quarter. And they went into the half with the lead and really controlled the whole half, the second half, because the Sixers never had a lead in the second half. And that performance last night, the thing that you have to understand about what you saw last night is that it continues to prove that this Heat team is for real. That to me is what really stood out of everything that we watched last night. They're the first team to hand Toronto, Milwaukee, and now the Sixers home losses. You're talking about teams that have won now combined maybe 40-something games at home. right? I don't know, maybe 50 it's at that point. So these are dominant teams at home, and Miami has gone in there and won against them. And remember, Philly had already beaten you, so it's not like you were surprising them. It's not like Miami is a surprise to anybody at this point in time, right? By now, I think we all know, in the NBA, I'm saying, they kind of know who the Heat is. I mean, they're 20-9. They got the third spot in the Eastern Conference. They've been one of the top teams in the conference now from the get-go. I think they've got everybody's attention. So if anybody wants to use a cheap excuse and say, oh, well, what really happened is that the Heat, the Sixers didn't take them seriously. Oh, get the hell out of here. So what we're learning is, or maybe, I got to say, we're learning, along with the rest of the NBA, that this is not flukish, that this is a team that is the real deal. And yesterday, you heard Spo after the game talk about how they put the youngins through the ringer, and that the veterans also are very complimentary to the young guys on how they responded last night. Kendrick Nunn hit some big shots. I know the free throws down the stretch kind of hurt. But overall, Nunn had a great game. He had 26 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, okay? That banked three-pointer with 7-minute mark in the fourth quarter was interesting. But Duncan Robinson had 15 points, shot 3 of 9 from three-point range, added 5 rebounds. Derrick Jones Jr., 13 points, 2 of 4 from three-point range, 6 rebounds. Tyler was all over the place. 9 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. These are your young guys. Bam is an all-star caliber player now at this point. And I know that it's almost kind of crazy to expect what we got, but you got the 23-9 yesterday, along with 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. And then obviously Butler's going to do his thing with 14-7, 5 assists, and 2 steals. So you're going to get your play from your veterans. But to get what you got from the young guys yesterday, to me, that tells me that, one, Spo has got their attention. 2, more importantly than anything else, it's great to give Spo and his staff a lot of credit. But those young guys, I'm going to give a lot of credit to those players for being mature enough to understand the situation they're in, how poorly they played against Memphis, and then to take accountability for that play and to go on the road against a team like this and respond this way. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And it also shows that Spo and the staff are developing players at every level. The guy that's fresh out of college, the guy that's been in the league for a year or two, the older player, and then being able to mesh everything together. And then the other thing that we have to compliment the Heat on, because if we're going to have some fun with Riley at times, and really that's all it is, because Riley's the best, and you can never, ever say anything bad about Riley. But, overall. But you can talk about the last couple of years with the bad deals, right? And not just bad deals, but players that are not Heat players. Because Whiteside and Dion Waiters are not Heat players. And you wonder what happened there, right? Here's you got to credit Riley and Chet and Simon and everybody else in the front office that has scouted all these players. The character of a Tyler Hero, the character of a Duncan Robinson, the character of a Carlos Silva, the character of a Kendrick Nunn, the character of a Bam Adebayo, the character of a Justice Winslow. I mean, considering you're going after all these young guys the last couple of years, and you've done a really good job of scouting the human being. That's pretty cool. That is pretty awesome, and I would imagine that maybe the mistakes you made with Whiteside and even Dion have kind of maybe reminded you, hey, you know what? We're not a Teflon franchise here. We're not going to be able to turn everybody around. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's one of those deals that gave them a little bit of a wake-up call, and they've handled this, I mean, in an incredible fashion. I mean, those young guys, for them to respond that way, to work this hard, and to go in there with that kind of attitude, I can't say enough about the young group around the Heat. And that's the reason why people are talking about the Heat now. No other reason. Yeah, everybody knows Butler, but everybody's looking going, hey, are you watching Bam? Because that guy is like tearing it up right now. And people are now recognizing him as a all-star caliber player, which you have to. The way he's playing, there's no other way to describe Bam. And then you look at Tyler and Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson. Silva is more for us. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole different ball game with Silva. Even though I love what he's doing, Derrick Jones Jr. is the guy maybe they're noticing more around the league. And he's been here for a couple of years. But Silva is another guy that I mean, who doesn't love Silva? Hardcore Heat fans are appreciating the development of that kid, you know? So it's really impressive to see what happened last night with the Miami Heat and the character that this young team showed us to respond the way they did is just absolutely stunning.
You know what I think? The ups and the downs, you know what I mean? The way they ran us down, it became a tight game. We made some mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay. Duncan Robinson, 5-second violation, and then the pass from Butler. Okay.
No, and they missed a whole bunch of free throws.
Yes. No, well, I was
none misses two.
Hold on.
And Bam went 1 of 2, right?
Yes. Butler,
and you're like, come on, guys.
Butler. And I'm sitting there the whole time going, where is Hero? Hero's like 90 blah, 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 from the free throw. Why isn't Hero in the game right now? But even with the mistakes, we were able to come through.
Yeah.
Character.
We're going to get Brian Flores for you because he's about to talk any second now. And so let's get Brian Flores ready because he is going to be addressing the media. And we'll get back to this Heat conversation because I've got a bunch of things that I want to talk about. What do we got here? Emilio says, good morning, boys. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Well, thank you. That's early Christmas and Happy New Year.
How about Merry New Year?
Yes.
For Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, that's right.
On Saturday Night Live for Saturday.
What about them Heat? Hell of a win by the Heat. Damn right. It's not flukish. Beat the Sixers, Bucks, Rockets, Raptors, and Nets. No doubt. No doubt. It's what we've talked about. The beauty of this Heat team is they have a shot against everybody. 100 Hold says, great win by Miami. Danny says, agree, Big O. Blocking all of that Dion and JJ crap is what makes this so impressive. Bam is playing out of his mind and love watching him grow. Yeah, and remember, the young guys, they look at those guys like clowns. You know, guys like Dion are looked like clowns. They're not taken serious. Notice nobody in the locker room misses the guy at all. They're not saying, oh, we got to get Dion back, or not one person. Not one person cares whether Dion comes back or not. That's all you need to know right there of where they stand with Dion Waiters. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. And you can reach out to us also on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And we are out here, by the way, at Toyota of Hollywood. And we're at 1841 North State Road 7, just a couple blocks south of that big giant guitar. Come on out here. We'll be out here till 3 o'clock. So if you happen to be in the area, would love to meet you. Come on by and say hi. More importantly, come on out here and get a great deal, man. We got a beautiful Supra right in front of me. That is an awesome car, by the way. That thing drives like a rocket. That's all I can tell you. All right? It's really, really nice, man. Really, really nice. Anyway, so come on out and get a great deal. They can make you a great deal out here. I see my man Herbie Lopez out there working hard out here on the showroom. So come on out, Steve Ostrov, everybody out here waiting to make you a big-time deal at Toyota of Hollywood. And remember, you can also follow us on Twitter at Big O Show. That's the other way to follow us here on the program. It is 11:08, so I know that we're about to get hit by Brian Flores any second now because he doesn't even wait till 11:10.
You know what? Remember last time he was late.
Really? Was he?
Do you remember that? Because we were like, wow, he went past the mark. Something was happening.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did. He was. Yeah, that's right. It wasn't much, but you're right. You're right. He started right after, like only like a minute or two after, but it wasn't. But it's usually, a minute or two before, 5 minutes before, because I've even talked to the writers where they're like, oh, no, I got to do it earlier because Flo sometimes will come in earlier than he's supposed to, and we've got to be ready for that because he'll tell you 11:10 and he'll show up at 11 o'clock, and he'll tell you 2:30 and he'll be in there at 2:25, and you walk in at 2:28 and you're looking like, oh my God. And I've done that over the years. I've gone to a press conference that I got there like maybe a minute or two before it started, supposed to start. And I walk in, it's already going on. And it's like one of those things like you got in late to a concert or something. You're asking the person next to you, hey, did the concert just start? What song are they into? Oh, this is the third song. That kind of stuff. And you're like, oh, damn it, I missed the other songs. It sucks. That kind of stuff.
Thank goodness for set this.
Yeah. But although, for concerts, you hope they don't go on earlier than they say. Now, that would be a problem. It's a bigger problem the other way when it's Lauryn Hill like you're supposed to go on at 7:30 and then Lauryn Hill shows up like at 11:30, 4 hours later, that kind of stuff. That would be a little bit of an issue. So we're waiting. Brian Flores now. We'll get his press conference. We'll give you our thoughts on his comments. I got to talk also a couple of things I want to talk about Dolphins wise, especially Armando Salguero's got an article on Josh Rosen, and I want to talk about one of the things that I agree with. I agree with a part of the premise of the article. There's a part of the example that he's using that I disagree with Armando, and I want to get into that and talk a little bit about his Rosen article in the Miami Herald. You should check it out. Armando always does great work covering the Miami Dolphins. Hey, look, I like all the guys that cover. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with all of them all the time. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. I got my opinions too. Doesn't mean I'm right either. Obviously, we're going to be wrong a ton. But in this one with Armando, a lot of people, I'm sure, share his point of view, and maybe a few share mine. But I see it a little differently than he does. So we'll get to. I'm trying to drag on a little bit because I don't want to get into anything else, and then I get cut off by Brian Flores because he's actually late again this time now. How about that? Now he's late again. It's 11:11. He's a whole minute late, dude. A whole minute late. That's crazy. So we need Brian Flores to be on time a little bit more often, because now we've got. Oh, you know what it is? Now I think about it, as Brian develops here as a coach, he also picks up the Cubanisms, because we affect a lot of you out there, right? A lot of you that you probably end up going late, you picked it up from Cubans, because we're notorious for that. Can't tell a Cuban 8 o'clock. If you want them there at 8, tell them 7:15, and then they'll get there at 8, and then they'll apologize and they'll say, no problem, and you really wanted them there at 8 o'clock. So that's the key. I just want you to know. So maybe we are affecting Brian Flores now. Brian Flores' future press conferences are going to be, it's going to say 11:10 Cuban time. And then that'll be really like, noon. Something like that. So any of those writers out there that end up coming late to the press conference, they will be happy that Flores is now inheriting Cuban time for his press conferences. How about that? That's pretty cool. Now, you know what? And that also shows that Brian is an understanding man of our society, of our culture here, that we like to be late. So let me join in the crowd. Let me be late. And that's what Brian is doing. I like it. I like it. He's in honor of Cuban time. We will not do the press conference at 11:10. We will do it at whatever. There you go. So I don't know. Whenever he does it, we'll get to it. We'll try to keep up with it. What can I tell you? Now, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's really simple. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can see it there on the screen right under me, right there. See? 786-322-1105.
Hey, that guy right there?
Yes.
See, Edison.
Astounding.
Astounding.
The man.
Hellaciously amazing.
Yes. Well,
we are hooked.
We
got a router. Our own.
They aim to please here at Toyota of Hollywood.
In every capacity.
That's right. It's what they're here to do, bro.
Absolutely astounding. Like the way the people treat you, the way everybody walks around with a smile on their face.
Well, there's a reason why they're selling like 1,000 cars a day in this place.
With the way
they're really good.
The cars look. I got to tell you, your car. Wow, you did really good.
Oh man, yes, I'm really, really happy with my car. Took a little bit to decide what to get and all of that, but I got the right one, and I got an interesting color and everything. So it was really cool. Really good experience yesterday to purchase the vehicle.
So what color is your car today? I mean, obviously the clouds are not helping.
It's like an aqua. There's like a dark marine color, and then at night it has like that black marine color.
So tomorrow when the sun's out, because the overcast, it'll be one color when it's overcast, another color when it's sunny.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's probably what it's going to be. So we continue to await, and I'm kind of holding off on the show and to talk about more things because I don't want to get caught in midstream. I wanted to at least get on, talk a little heat before Flores gets on, because obviously that's really the big story today. Is really more Heat than Dolphins, unless he's going to surprise us with something here, and maybe join us.
Okay. You know what? We've been seeing almost every day. It's become a normal thing. Are we putting somebody on the IR today? What are the odds?
No.
What's the line on that?
No, those odds are really good, dude. There's no doubt.
That's like a daily practice almost,
Yeah. That's I wouldn't be surprised if there's somebody else that goes on the IR and they picked up some. And what I love is, hey, listen, Dolphins could be pulling off some Kendrick Nunn crap here. You know what I'm saying? Because they might snatch a couple more practice squad guys, put them on their active roster, so that way they're on their roster going into next season for training camp, and it's more bodies and young bodies for training camp. Because, again, a lot of people don't understand that the Dolphins are just bringing in young players because they're trying to build through youth, and they're sifting. They're just trying to, okay, you're good, you stay.
You maybe started this Sunday. I mean, Nate Brooks got picked up and he started on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. We got a guy starting in our secondary that we just grabbed off the practice squad. Are you kidding me? Yeah. But obviously, Flores had seen him probably, right? Being with the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is okay.
Yeah. No doubt. I'm sure is well, and remember, he says he's a waiver wire student. So he's constantly watching the waiver wire every day because he's also a personnel guy. And I think that's really cool. Think about this. The fact that Flores has had all these jobs has kind of prepared him for all kinds of jobs. And he hasn't just been a coach. Like Adam Gase was just a coach. And so now you put him in charge of personnel. He doesn't really know what to look for. And then that's why he's not trained well and he makes bad decisions, and usually lazy ones, because all he does is goes back to what he's had in the past.
Yeah,
everywhere he goes. Everywhere he goes.
Someplace he left.
Everywhere he goes, that's what he does. That's his MO. And he continues to do it there with the Jets. Whereas Flores is a guy that understands personnel and can sit there and have a conversation with the personnel department, and they can discuss the positives and the negatives of certain players because he already comes from a scouting background, not just a coaching background, but also a scouting background. So that gives him the experience at multiple levels, which prepares him better for this position. Because he knows what to look for in a player in order for it to translate to what he needs on the field. We'll see. And listen, like I said, next year will be the year that we will find out if, he is the real deal. That's the beauty of it all.
They're not ready to jump in still. That case.
No, I can't say it's official yet. No, I can't do official yet because I need to see one more year to make sure that this wasn't flukish. But man, I will say this. I'll go out on a limb, and I think we'll see improvement next year. And I think it will be proven that it's not flukish. And I think he'll prove that he's a pretty good coach. But again, we kind of need the nail in the coffin for next year to say, okay, yeah, we saw it now. 2 years in a row, he's made the team better. Players are taking another step forward under his guidance and all of that, like what we see with Spo. It's like what we talked about yesterday with Spo, that he's developed players and coaches because he's had all kinds of coaching staffs under him, and yet they continue to have, success. One guy, Anderson family says, talk cats. We will. Later on in the program, we will. But right now, it's not a priority. They got to earn that priority to talk cats, unfortunately. Right now, we're going to talk, Dolphins, and we're going to talk definitely Miami Heat. A lot of heat today. But we are awaiting, I don't know, man. Maybe there is no press conference at this time anymore. Maybe they pushed it back or something. He's really late, dude.
Maybe the weather. Because the further north you went, the more it was raining.
But that has nothing to do with why they would ever even delay it.
On my way over here, State Road 9, there was a car, literally, that was flipped in the middle of the road. The Waze sent me there, and literally, I guess the crash happened 2 minutes before the turn. It's Waze kind of surprisingly was wrong.
Either way, that has nothing to do with it. They don't care over there, bro. They don't care. I used to watch my daughter open presents on Christmas Day, and then I'd get in a car and go cover practice because they were practicing on Christmas Day, and I had to cover it. But I was able to at least to get the present stuff out of the way in the morning, and then take off like around 10 in the morning to camp to go cover it. Okay, so they don't care rain. Man, I've been at practice where it's raining so much, the mats that they use to protect the players from equipments that on the side, these thick ass mats, right? They were floating on the practice field because there's so much water in the practice field. It's a couple of inches that now the mats start floating like boats. And guess what? They're practicing.
Well, I was
wet ball, whatever. They come up with anything, any excuse. Keep your ass out there on the field.
Well, what I was saying.
And we're out there like I'm with an umbrella watching practice because I have to watch what they're doing because that was my job in those days.
No, what I was saying is maybe the weather has made him late. Getting it.
No. They've been. That guy gets there at 4 in the morning, dude.
He's like Jimmy Butler.
Those guys don't. Coaches don't even see their families during the season. Like they see them for like 10 minutes. They come into the house, they say, "Hi, honey." They kiss the kids, they jump in the shower, and then they leave back to the practice facility. Coaches, people don't have no idea how hard they grind. We got it? Let's go. Brian Flores, here you go. I'm going to have a field day with this one. I will have a field day with this question.
Maldonado, no può di Maldonado. That's your favorite band, man.
You're listening to the press conference from Brian Flores from the Miami Dolphins.
Here's something. I was thinking maybe tackles your situation, make it work out, be able
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
I work with somebody else, but he's not here at the moment. He said to see if maybe I can start the process or any questions.
There you go. That's the head coach, Brian Flores, addressing the Meteors. And the specific question early on, and I believe it was Barry Jackson that asked the question. And look, it's a loaded question, first of all, by Barry. It's also a question that is there's a lot of gray area with a question like that, because you have to know, first of all, who's the player, what position are we talking about? Because let me give you an example.
There was just too many variables, man. I mean, how are you supposed to answer that question?
If there's a guy that's a zone corner and you're a man-on-man scheme, but you'll play zone at times, you really can't accommodate him. Because if he's only a zone, then he can only play in a portion of your defense. And one of the things that they love is having guys that are multiple and that can do different things because they will scheme differently from week to week because they're going to do what they're going to try to do what the Patriots do. And they've already done it, actually. They've already kind of shown you that they'll scheme differently from one team to another. If you're going to do that, then you're going to need to be multiple in most positions. Now, example opposite of what I just gave you. If you're a great pass rusher that you just know how to get after the quarterback, but you're not great against the run, so they're not going to use you in short yardage situations sometimes. They might pull you at that moment. But the skill set of getting after a quarterback is priceless, right? But because of that, you will then go get the werewolf. It might be a little harder for scheme fit, for roster spot, for all of that to add a linebacker that can't cover. And he can only play on 2 downs, and he's a run stuffer, and he's a thumper, as they say, but he can't cover. And if he can't cover, look at what Raekwon McMillan is not a good coverage guy. I'm kind of describing Raekwon. But notice how they put him on the edge to rush, and he's actually had some success. So they went and found another skill set for him, which is going after the passer. Some teams can carry a linebacker that's a 2-down guy that can't play on 3rd downs, can't cover. A lot of teams will not accommodate that. I don't know where they stand. But again, if you want the question of scheme fit and do you adjust for a player, well, it all depends on who the player is. It all depends on what skill they bring to the table or what skill they're missing. And that's to be determined, after you figure out the entire equation. And that's where Barry kind of asked the question that was open-ended, loaded, full of gray area, and there was no specific information. Maybe he was talking about Chase Young. We'll see. You'll get to, when Barry writes the article tomorrow or the next day or whatever, and it comes out, you'll be able to put one and one together because you'll hear these sound bites. So you'll know what he was asking about. He clearly didn't want to ask about a specific player because he doesn't want others to know what he's working on. And I think, too, if you ask about a specific college player, I don't think you're going to get any answers from any head coach. They're going to be so PC. Oh, yeah, no, terrific kid. Great player. Yeah, he should have a lot of success in the league. That's it. They're not going to trash the kid, and they're not going to tell you how much they love him that they got to draft him, or they're not going to tell you, yeah, that kid, well, he does this well and he doesn't do this well, so we can't take – they're not going to give that away either. Because if other teams don't know that, that's ammo for you. They might think you might be interested in the guy, and you never were. You never know. That's why that question just kind of didn't fly, man. It didn't make sense to me. That's one of those where you can't get a great answer from it because it's not a great question. That's all. It's pretty simple.
Is it kind of a lob to see if you can get him to bite?
No, I think.
You don't think it was that?
No, I think Barry probably couldn't be specific as much as he wanted to, so he can get more information. But he couldn't be specific because he doesn't want to let anybody else know what he's working on. And in the process, you had to ask a very gray area question. So maybe he only used a portion of some of those sound bites, some of those responses, whatever fits kind of the article, in other words.
I see Flores as a guy, any answer, any question, any answer he's going to throw, you can see that he takes his time and he'll shut you down. We're going to keep that here.
By the way, they did not hear the press conference.
No?
No, that's what I'm told. They did not hear the press conference. Oh, there is a faint background music in the audio as if someone next door is playing music and you are picking it up. No press conference audio. So there you go. So I don't know what happened, but whatever it wasn't sending the. But at least it sends. You guys are hearing me at least, right? I'm wondering. You know what? That it's not connected to the board. That's all. That's probably what it is. It's probably working off the other mic. Yeah. Yeah, because you got it connected. You got it connected to the headphone. It's audio out. Right. So, yeah. I don't know. Can you guys hear me like now when I disconnect? Are you hearing me now? Like right this second, can you hear me? Give me something on the chat board. And then now I'm going to connect, and then you tell me now when I connect. See, there you go. Now you guys can tell me. There you go. So was there any difference now when I connected and disconnected? That way we know, because we are going to have a couple of interviews, and we thought you were going to be able to hear the interviews like normal, but apparently you're not able to hear the interviews. So we're not getting the same, which sucks for you guys, obviously, because we've got Tim Murray coming up at 12:45 from NBC Sports, the Daily Line. We're adding a new segment, a handicapping segment. And if you have any handicapping questions that you want me to ask the handicapping expert, and it's brought to you by Hialeah Park Casino, it's our Hialeah Park Casino sports investment segment, baby. And so we're going to have Tim on at 12:45. If you have any certain questions that you have since you've been investing in certain games, pass them on. We'll ask Tim. And then at 2 o'clock, Michelle Kaufman couldn't join us yesterday. Today, she is available, so she will be joining us in our Inter-Miami football report. There you go. It's a beautiful thing. We do want to remind you that we're proudly brought to you by Moody's Dental. Go see Eric and all the great people there at Moody's Dental. They are the implant and Invisalign experts. Got my Invisaligns, baby. Take advantage of your insurance benefits for 2019 before the year runs out. So get those cavities filled, get the crown, whatever it is. Go to Moody's Dental. Remember, that stuff doesn't roll over. So take advantage now, and then you can take advantage next year of the new amount of money that you have in your benefits. Call them 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. You can also go to the website and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you at Moody'sDental.com.
I don't know why it didn't go. That's crazy.
You're sending audio out to your box. You're not sending audio into this. So I don't know how it is. You can ask Los if you want about that. You're connected to the headphones. So the only thing you could be getting is my audio from that to the mixer. But if you're sending it to YouTube, then that there, the press conference, you also have to feed it through the.
No, because think about the tablet. Where we go in is the headphone jack. It's the
No, but
same
it doesn't.
principle.
But it's not the same. It's not working the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
but
don't know. Maybe there's something that we're doing. I don't know. I'm okay.
Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. All 2019 models, Toyota Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover. 2019 RAV4, 3,019, 775. Upfield 2019 Cabriolet, 26,017, 775. Upfield 2019 Corolla LE, 22,000. $775. Here come 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood. Number one volume Toyota dealer based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 for SET. 41 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making it any longer. Call Michael Kotze now at Choice Mortgage Bank 561-441-2730 while mortgage interest rates are still historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy yours. Currently paying on $800 a month. Call 561-441-2730 now. Interest rates drop down payments as low as 3.5%. If you want, you're upside down. Michael Kotze can. It can be designed by your bank or your loan process. Call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change. Therefore, without notice, equal housing limit. MLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a company, you go through a right here so that you can be covered by insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going to the app. I'm a third party business company, so I plan. We're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and just self-confident luxury SUV and has another federal price to listen to RDS.
Jamais vu ça. Ouais.
Juste que la station de la vie.
Please.
I don't see it. All right, man. Take pictures next time you walk. All right.
All righty, welcome back right here at Toyota of Hollywood. I love it. 1841 North State Road 7. Come on by and say hi. We'll be out here till about 3 o'clock. Starting in January, we'll be out here every Thursday. So we'll be rocking and rolling. You ready to come out to Toyota of Hollywood every Thursday starting in January? Huh?
That sounds like a great.
Yes, it is a great plan. It's a beautiful plan. So we'll be having fun out here every Thursday.
I have to tell you, last night when we were leaving here,
Yes.
on the way, I don't know if you noticed, but it's like Hard Rock knew you were leaving in your greenish blue car because the guitar was greenish blue.
It was
Did you notice that?
I don't know, but what I did notice is that I did not notice at the moment that the what you said, but since I was here several times, that giant LED screen was going crazy with all kinds of different, patterns and designs and
Gotta
all
get
that
ready for
stuff.
the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
man.
it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, they're ready for the Super Bowl over there, man. They are ready to rock and roll. Hey, tonight is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. You going? I can't go. I'll be on tonight on Sirius Mad Dog Radio. We'll be rocking from 8 to 11 tonight. So we'll have a little fun on Sirius Mad Dog Radio. Can't complain there. We'll be doing that. So although if I get off at 11, I really could race over to a midnight showing. I could do that. Although after that long day I had yesterday, going into today, I think I may rest tonight when I get off at 11 o'clock. If you guys want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can do it at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. It's like a 24-hour talk show there. Tim Murray from NBC Sports and the Daily Line is going to join us at 12:45. So we'll have some fun with Tim, and we'll get his thoughts on several things going on. Michelle Kaufman will stop by at 2 o'clock. So we'll have a little fun with Michelle. And can't complain always with Michelle. She is absolutely fantastic, man. She is a beautiful person to be able to join us every week to talk about Inter and give you guys that segment that, a lot of people are looking forward to the soccer team taking over. For me personally, I can't wait. Those of you that have followed me, I've always been a huge soccer supporter. And it's funny because it's not so much that I go crazy about international soccer, which I watch and I follow casually. I don't really follow it hardcore. But what I do follow hardcore, believe it or not, is soccer in this country, and especially in our backyard. For me, it's more important to watch that grow. And now with Moss and company taking over, I'm super excited about that. So that's why we've been jumping on board and getting this Inter segment, because a lot of people I know are looking forward to Inter Miami taking over and really giving us something in the summer to cheer about. Because I mean, I love the Marlins, but there's nothing to cheer about with them, unfortunately. It's not a franchise that you believe in. It's not something you look forward to. How much does that suck, right? That it's hard. You can't look forward to a specific season of a team because you already know the end result, and they're not even trying to win. Now there's been some movement, not a lot, but at least some. Hopefully down the line we'll start to see more, and maybe they can start to show us that they're willing to win at all costs. Anyway, let's see. We got the Heat back in action on Friday. They will take on the Knicks, which that's not much of a game. That's not hasn't been a rivalry in forever because obviously New York is absolutely pathetic. So Heat, after an awesome win, beating the Sixers 108-104 last night to improve to 20-8, 9-7 on the road. And also handing Philadelphia their first loss of the season at home. They're now 14-1. So they handed Toronto, Milwaukee, and now the Sixers their first loss at home, which is pretty cool. Kendrick Nunn was enormous in that second and third quarters, man. That kid was just absolutely clutch. Great run to end the first half. 26 assists yesterday in their 40 baskets. That was pretty awesome yesterday. And to watch the culture that everybody talks about, and we throw it around, and Manny Diaz is trying to develop culture, and the Marlins are trying to develop culture, and the Dolphins are trying to develop culture, and I'm sure Inter Miami is going to want to establish culture, and obviously Joe Quenneville with the Panthers is establishing a culture. They've got it in place with the Miami Heat. I mean, to watch what happened yesterday, that was all about culture. For a team to respond like that with that kind of character, that's all culture, man. Taking pride in what you do is something that a lot of us just don't do. We don't do enough of it. And, well, think about this. Talking about taking pride in what you do, we've got a portion of the Dolphin fan base that has been asking their players to give up and not try and not take any pride in what they do. It's funny because when I watch Devontae Parker, I'm watching a kid that's taking pride in what he's doing, obviously, because there's no way you fight back from all that adversity if you don't have pride in what you do. Same thing with whether it's Preston Williams, whether it's Patrick Laird, whatever. I root for that. I root for people with character. I root for people that want to fight whatever adversity, because you're going to face it. I'm going to face it. We're going to face it all the time in life. Question is, how do you handle it? How do you face that adversity? Do you give into it? Do you let it bring you down? No, you got to find a way to overcome it. And when you do, I want to champion stuff like that. But meanwhile, we got people that want to ask their teams to give up and not try, which is ridiculous. Because then how do you trust that player again? You know what I mean? And when you've got that, and that's what you see in this franchise, and how they hold their players accountable, young or old, and to have also this tethered, like, emotional rope around the young guys. And what I mean by that is you've got Spo, obviously, in the coaching staff, right? They're going to demand something from the players because coaches, good coaches, obviously, are demanding of players. And they're trying to coach them up. They're trying to teach them. They're trying to get any of those moments that they can and bottle it up so they can guide their player to success, right? Well, you've got young guys, and you never know how they're going to respond. But Spo has got a guy in Jimmy Butler who is kind of his right-hand man inside that locker room. Because Spo is a guy that wants to go all out, work hard, obviously, and demands that from his players. Jimmy is like that. He's a crazed maniac about the game. He wants to play and play hard all the time and practice and all of that stuff. So he has the same standards and demands that Spo has. And then you've got Udonis Haslem. So think about it. You've got the coach, you've got the current star, and you've got the former star that is a 3-time champion. You've got the different types of elements that police that locker room. It's pretty cool. And trust me, when you've got young guys that can be pushed by Jimmy, be taught by Spo, and then be guided by Udonis, it's enormous because you have every resource possible. You get the coaching perspective from Spo. You get the veteran perspective from a champion in Udonis Haslem. And you get the perspective from the current player that's on the floor with you every single night, playing, seeing, and going through the same things you are. So you have three different people that can relate to you at three different levels. Do you know what a bonus that is for Carlos Silva, for Kendrick Nunn, for Tyler Hero, for Duncan Robinson? And that's the other thing about this team, that it's constructed in a way that it really allows you the proper balance, because you have the veteran in the background that provides leadership in the locker room and practice and all that stuff in UD. You got the veteran that leads you on the court in Jimmy Butler. And then you've got young guys that are supporting the Jimmys and the Goran Dragic's of the world, the veteran leaders of this team, Kelly Olynyk, those kind of guys that they've got tons of experience. They've been there, they've done it. Now it's all those other guys that have never been there and never done it. They've got to support those guys. And that all of that kind of comes together in a really nice package. And it's the other thing that you got to love about all of this is that now in putting all of this together, right, the balance allows you to have the success now and into the future. It's pretty cool because as Jimmy gets older, 3 years from now, Bam becomes the guy. I mean, did you hear Jimmy's comment yesterday? It was a reporter that asked him, what do you say to people around the league that you can't be a really good team in this league with only one star on the team? And Jimmy's response to the reporter was, so you mean Bam's the only star on this team? That's what I'm talking about. There's a guy that has deflected not deflected. He has re-energized, or let's say he has guided the responsibilities of the team to everybody, because he will defer to Bam. He'll defer to Hero. He'll defer to Duncan because he will assist to those guys. He will, if he has a shot and he sees that guy's open, he will pass it to Hero because he knows Hero's a better shooter. And if guys are flowing and they're scoring, Jimmy's not about, no, I got to get my 25 points. He ends up with 12 and 8 assists. The guy's super happy. And when you have that, a guy that will facilitate, a guy that will delegate, a guy that will allow others to grow around him, that's huge, man. And that's the end result of what you're getting from this team and why they're 20-8. They're 20-8 because you will see the extra pass. That play last night, right around the paint where it was the 3 passes, it was like a thing of beauty because I could make an argument that all 3 could have taken that shot. And yet all 3 worked the ball to the third person because they knew IQ-wise that was going to set them up for the highest percentage shot out of all of them. I mean, and this happens every night. They're selfless as hell. They're not sitting there grabbing the stat sheet. I'm sure, unlike Whiteside, which I'm told, second you walked into the locker room, the guy would want to grab his stat sheet right away to find out his stats. You know what I mean? And that's because he's so worried about getting his. because it's all about rebounds, all about blocks. Remember how I used to say? And none of these guys give me the impression that they're all out about themselves. They're all out about those 4 words that are right here on top of their jersey. It says HEAT. Did I spell it right? Yeah? Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not really good, not really smart. So anyway, that to me, that's the thing that I have noticed from all of this. I mean, we've had teams in the past, in the recent past, that have all kinds of issues, right? Whether it's injury issues, controversies, players that are, petulant children like Whiteside, and you still have one left. But the locker room is so strong. The locker room has risen above Dion to a level that he can't even affect them. And think about how young that roster is in a lot of areas. And as you all know, I don't need to tell you guys out there, young people are influential. I mean, you can make them do things that they don't want to do. You can convince them to believe things they shouldn't believe. And yet, because it's just one dude, he can't penetrate that energy field, that positive energy field that the Miami Heat has developed this season. It's pretty cool. And it's definitely a reason why you're watching what you're watching right now with the Miami Heat. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Hey, tomorrow we're going to be at Hialeah Park, where we're at every Friday. So think about it. Next month, every Thursday here, every Friday at Hialeah Park. So this is the beautiful thing right here. When we're going to be at Hialeah Park, we're going to be at the Champions Simulcast Center tomorrow. Normally we're in the second floor poker room, so those of you that come by to say hi, and we always appreciate it, by the way, those of you that come by to hang out with us. We'll be at the Champions Simulcast Center for the next 4 weeks over at Hialeah Park. So if you're going over to Hialeah to visit us or to hang out, whatever, but if you want to visit us, please come on over to the Champions Simulcast Center. That's where we're going to be. All right, let me tell you a little bit about this, because it happens to a lot of people. They notice this brown spot on the wall, on the roof. They're like, whoa, what is that? And you know what? That could be a roof leak. That could be Irma damage. And folks, if you see those signs of possible Irma damage, you need to call my friends at East Coast Public Adjusters right now, 855-GET-ECPA. And let me tell you something, folks. We've got less than 9 months to file your claim to reopen that Irma claim. So do it right now, folks. You want a free inspection? Don't settle for less. Please call the great sponsors of this program, East Coast Public Adjusters, 855-GET-ECPA. Don't wait till it's too late. Call for free inspection, 855-GET-ECPA.
He told me that what we need is an external sound card to hook into the laptop. I told him, I go, dude, why didn't you say? I'm figuring it's the same. He goes, I thought you were going to be at the studio.
No, I told him clearly. I said clearly Thursday and Friday. I already anticipate this. I said Thursday and Friday we're not in the studio. Doesn't make a difference. All right, whatever, bro.
So he was all about
And he's sitting there saying,
well, you
and
get,
guess what?
and he goes,
So I said, okay. So you're going to put it that way. You get one, I get three. But you know what, dude?
right.
You from those two.
Well, and he was saying, no, you go to the USB. I told him, I go, can we do a mini? He goes, why? I go, to keep the same apparatus that we use on the tablet, to keep it all in the same realm. He goes, well, yeah, you could probably, yeah, you can get an external. And I go, why wouldn't we do that? Keep it in the same realm. Like, we're going to work this, and that. So I got to look up an external sound card for a mini so that we can do this right tonight.
No one expects to get into a crash. I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com. To make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance. It can be up to $1 million. Try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Hussein from Phoenix, Miami. So we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Hussein. Accidentlawfirm.com.
You know? Fucking plastic. Oh yeah. How you feeling, Bill? How you feeling?
Great.
I'm feeling pretty good, but not as good as you. You got a new car.
Oh yeah. Got a new car. Feeling good. Got my new car. Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, if I had your car, I'd be walking on the block.
I feel good, man. I feel good overall. Everything's good. The show's going really well for us. People are loving it. They're responding in a big time way, and the sponsors are growing, and we appreciate those. And if those of you want to be a part of our show, and you want to be a proud sponsor of our show, like the great Pallet Rack City and Eddie Pereira and all the great people at Pallet Rack City or Toyota of Hollywood or Craig's in Acura or Hialeah Park, man, reach out to us at Orlando at thebigoshow.com or, of course, on our Twitter at Big O Show and on our accidentlawfirm.com text line. Nunez Law, great sponsor of our program, 786-322-1105. We appreciate it. That's what's going to keep us going, and that's what's going to help us give you great coverage, too, coming up for the NFL draft, too, on top of all of that. And we're excited because starting in January, we're going to be here at Toyota of Hollywood every Thursday, broadcasting live, man. How about that? That is going to be absolutely awesome every Thursday to be out here from 11 to 3 at Toyota of Hollywood, having a good old time. So If you're in the area now, you know every Thursday you can catch us right here off of 441 and come by and visit us. We will have Tim Murray at 12:45. He's going to join us. If you have any questions when it comes to a little wagering, you can send them in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105 if you want to get in there on the program. The other thing that I want to mention and I want to talk about, Armando Salguero had an article, and we kind of heard him. Remember when he asked a question the day before, yesterday, when he was asking Flores about the things that he wants Rosen to work on, but Flores was like, well, I've had that conversation with Rosen. I'm just not having it with you, and I'm not going to tell all you guys what I tell Rosen, which, of course, is a great move by a coach. You want to keep – there's a lot of things you want to keep in-house. That's definitely one of them that you want to keep in-house, right? And he wrote an article today talking about Fitz, what Fitz has, what Rosen doesn't. And a lot of it is true, right? But where the one thing, and where he describes, you know, how Fitz and guys play hard for him, and he also wrote how in one of the press conferences where it was the Washington game, I believe, that Rosen was benched, and then they brought Fitz in, and they rallied and made it a game and all that. And that Fitz in that press conference said, the guys played hard for me. And Armando pointed out that guys don't play as hard for Rosen because Rosen is not as good a leader and all of that. And to a certain extent, I agree with Armando, just to a certain extent. I think there's another half of that he's overlooking for argument's sake and for the sake of that article. But if you want to be completely objective and talk about both sides, the reasons why you're going to play harder for Fitzpatrick if you're a player, it's because it's only human nature. You know you have a better shot at winning the game because Fitzpatrick is in there over Rosen. So it's just normal human nature that inside of you, you're going to be slightly more inspired. You might still be playing hard for Rosen, but you might have a little bit more of an edge for Fitzpatrick because it's just the way it is. It's normal. You're not going to get all the guys around you to rally and play at the same level if your quarterback is Matt Moore or Tom Brady. If Tom Brady's your guy, it's because you know he's won, because there's championships, there's Lombardi trophies that follow that guy. You know what I mean? And that's why you'll get guys to play hard. And it's Rosen. Look, I almost feel like I'm an apologist at times for the kid because I'm trying to explain how remedial he is at this point, and that's a problem. If he's not educated, because they didn't educate him at UCLA, they didn't educate him at Arizona, so he gets here to the Dolphins, and they get a guy that is remedial at quarterback. And so they've got to teach him. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Where's it parked out there? All right. All right. Thank you. All right. My life track is installed and clean. Anyway, so what was I saying? Now I killed my train of thought because I was thinking about my new Camry, bro. Huh? What was I saying now? Anyway, so
we're talking about Rosen.
Yeah, no. So with Rosen, it's a lack of education that the kid hasn't been taught, and so if you're not educated, it's hard to succeed, right? I mean, that's kind of when I started in this business 30 years ago, I didn't know anything about this business. I didn't know anything about radio. Because actually, I need to separate the two, actually, because there's radio and then there's business. Okay, that's very important here. I've seen a lot of people in this career that only know how to play radio. didn't play the business. And so you learn a lot of things in this business. And you become better, just like what you do. Anything that you do. If you're a carpenter, if you're a teacher, if you're a principal, if you're a policeman, you sucked at the beginning. Compared to a year later, 10 years later, 15 years later, you look back and you go, wow, man, I was a different person then. I was completely clueless. I didn't know about this, and this. That's Josh Rosen. The guy's learning all kinds of things. So it's not something that you should completely kill him about. You know what I mean? And he needs an opportunity to kind of grow now. And I think this whole year is the opportunity that he desperately needed. I think next year, if they open up the competition with the young guy, then I think we could get the measuring stick and find out, okay, let's see what you got. You got a year of, hey, they taught you, you're a year in the system. You now need to start showing that you can take those steps forward. See, the thing where I hold out hope for Josh Rosen, what you cannot teach, ladies and gentlemen, is passing. Don't ever lose that, okay? You don't have to teach him accuracy. He's accurate. He can throw the football, but he doesn't know how to read everything yet. He doesn't know what he's seeing in front of him all the time. Now he's learning about all of that. So let's see what happens once he gets a little bit of an education. And then maybe we can make a determination. But I think it's not as simplistic as Armando made it out to be in that article, that you follow Rosen. I mean, you don't follow Rosen and you follow Fitz because that's it. He's the leader. He's the man. He knows it. He understands the players. He'll eat and hang out with them and all of that. It's because he gives them a better chance to win. That's it. And this kid doesn't have the tools yet to give the team the kind of hope that Fitz does at this moment. That's all. It's really that simple. I don't think it's as difficult or it's rocket science that you got to try to figure it out, that this is so, confusing or anything along those lines. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what it is. And, hey, listen, a lot of people feel that they've given up on the kid, and maybe they're right. Maybe they have. But I also think they have taken a step back because I've watched them do it with other players. They want to educate their players. They want to coach them up to then put them out there to see what you've learned and see if you can make some progress. I think that's what they're doing this entire year with him now. I think they realized when they put him out there, because Fitz was playing terrible, they put him out there. They saw, okay, he's not ready. We got to keep Fitz in there. He gives us a better chance. He allows us to, check everybody out and figure everything else out. So let's move on in this direction. Next year, we'll give the kid another shot. And if he's not ready, then we're done and we move on. But I think he'll get one more shot in the offseason to kind of prove that he's grown. And by the way, not just prove to the coaches, not just prove to himself, but also sell it to his teammates. Hey, I'm a different guy. Hey, I'm a better player. 3 years ago, how do you think guys felt around Devontae Parker? Yeah, he'll never get it. He's soft. He's breaking down. He can't get it done. I'm sure now they rally around Devontae Parker because they think they can win with Devontae Parker. Why? Because Devontae Parker now can stay healthy and he can go out and play. Health was killing the kid, unfortunately. Think about that. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, we take you till about 3 o'clock after Michelle Kaufman joins us for her Inter Miami segment later on the show. We do want to remind you that the program is proudly brought to you by Choice Mortgage Bank. We love talking about Michael Kodsey and the great people at Choice Mortgage Bank. And folks, they can still get you into state rates under 3.5%. That's right. State rates under 3.5%. That is crazy, man. Do it right now. You want great service. You want somebody that is a tireless worker, okay? Kind of like me, tireless worker. That's probably why Michael Kodsey and I get along so well, because we both know how to grind, man. We are out there constantly, and that's what Michael is, fighting for you on a consistent basis. So many of our listeners, they love it, man. They call Michael Kodsey 561-441-2730, and now they're in a much better place. They're dumping those banks. They're saying no to those lazy mortgage companies, those irresponsible people out there, because they're calling Choice Mortgage Bank. And they do it all. Wholesale, conventional, residential loans, condo loans, reverse mortgages, jumbo loans, FHA, VA loans. Call them right now. State rates under 3.5%. Hey, consolidate those bills. 561-441-2730. That's 561-441-2730.
Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year change. Take as an offer, any offer. You can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when you and you. 50% less. Up to 2019 RAV4, not 30,019,775. Up to 2019 Cabriolet, not 26,017,775. Up to 2019 Corolla LE, not 20,012,775. Up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood. Number one volume Toyota dealer based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 for SET on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't wait any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank 561-441-2730 while mortgage interest rates are still historical low. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now. Mortgage interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help you. Denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long. Call 561-441-2730. Act now while rates are still at 3.5%.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or not. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going to the app. I'm attorney Mark.
I was asking Herbie now about the seat covers. They're $200, but I told him to give me an employee discount. If I bought it, I got to protect the seats. I got to protect the seats.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet little lies. Tell me lies.
All it is nice outside. Big show group, what to get, what to want, what to want, what to want.
Download it, baby, every day.
Big old radio show. What are you talking about? The big old.
Let's do it. All righty, welcome back. Toyota of Hollywood. Having some fun out here. And starting in January, we will be out here every single Thursday, rocking and rolling, baby. Having some fun. Maybe we'll get a locker to leave our stuff here for every Thursday. What do you think? Oh man, I love it. I love it. But we're gonna have some fun out here. Everybody's so good. Herbie's out here, Steve, all the great people. Mike Ball. How about Mike Ball yesterday? Huh? Is he a stud or what? He was amazing, teaching me all the little because those the cars nowadays they got so many little tricks, little extras, and all kinds of good stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. Claudio says Dolphins should draft first offensive line and defensive line. Claudio, they need offensive line, they need defensive line, but okay, you can't control any of that. You gotta, when you're in the draft, you find out because let's say you get to the part where, okay, the tackle's good, but there's a better outside linebacker. Well, then you take the outside linebacker. And you love this defensive end. He's pretty good, but the shutdown corner is a better player. You got to take the shutdown corner. The beauty of where the Dolphins are at right now, Claudio, is that they can actually draft anywhere, and you can't say, well, wait a minute, you got a surplus there. I mean, the only one that we might question would be receiver. Right? Because you got Preston coming back. You like what you saw from him. Alan Hearns is a really nice possession guy. Jakeem Grant will fill that fourth role perfectly. And Devontae Parker is kind of developed into a number one. So you've got four guys. So if you draft another guy, I would imagine that it's a receiver that you think is extremely special and going to take you to another level. But that would be a position. Outside of that, every other position,
I'm coming up
Go
with
for
a
it.
scenario.
What's that?
One of the three bad killer Alabama guys slip,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Right.
And they're sitting there in the back end of the second or third round.
Right.
They should have been gone by early two
Right.
at latest, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to grab them, correct?
Yes.
Value for the pick.
Well, I mean, it depends on what player we're talking about. Again, it all depends on the player and the position. You know what I mean? Because did you draft that position the round before or what? I don't know. You gotta be. You gotta be in the moment. I try to tell people this all the time, but I get it. We're in the microwave society. The fans want an answer right now. No, you've got to build it up right now. You've got to take offensive linemen and defensive linemen. And yes, in theory, you're right. But in the moment, maybe the quarterback's more important because it was better pick. Maybe the outside linebacker was better because in this defense, you want a pass rusher. You need a middle linebacker. So maybe that would be better to get that guy. You just never know. You never know. You got to be in that moment for you to decide, okay, this is the right move, this is the wrong move. That's all. Let's see. Seen the culture of this Heat team and how hard they play together. Would you trade any of these players, and who would you trade? Well, Emilio, that is a very open-ended question because you're asking me if I would trade any of these guys. Right now, no, I don't want to trade anybody. But then who am I trading them for is the question. Now, if you're going to tell me, hey, wait a minute, let me see. I'm trying to think of a young stud player that might be available on a bad team. We're just watching a Supra that's being moved right now. You know the amazing part about getting behind a Supra? Somebody that actually drives at 1 mile an hour in a Supra. Because you know you want to just floor that thing and fly. Because that thing flies. It's beautiful. There you go. See? There's a Supra. Look at that thing. Oh, it's gorgeous. Pretty awesome, isn't it? You gotta love it. That is good stuff there. You want a Supra there, Bill? You need a Supra?
I'll get
One day, buddy. One day. Down the line. We'll grow this baby up and you'll be driving to work in a Supra. I don't know. I don't know if I see you much of a sports car guy anymore.
excuse me. Where does the equipment go?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there's a big problem with that.
Told you we're gonna have a locker here with all our stuff. Oh, they're pulling in. Oh, they're pulling in a beautiful Camry is what they're doing. An SE. Yeah. That thing is nice. Red too. That was the other color. If I didn't get my color, I was gonna get red. That was the other one. But that's the SE. I have the XSE. I think that's what it is. That's the only difference. And it looks exactly like mine. I don't even know what the difference is, actually. From ESE to XSE. Oh, no, I can see already the seats are different. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. That car is beautiful right there. That's a really nice car.
No, the Camrys they are the lines on those cars, the shape, the exhaust, everything, the air dams,
Yeah.
and where they're located.
Yep.
It's a bad car.
No doubt. No doubt. So come get one over here at Toyota of Hollywood and tell them that we sent you. They will definitely take care of you. But anyway, so Emilio, you got to be more specific on a trade and what players. Would I trade Dion Waiters? Hell yeah. I'll trade him for a 6-pack of Schaefer right now. They're not like you're going to get any kind of player for Dion. You're not even going to get a pick. In fact, somebody in the NBA might call you and say, hey, we'll offer you a 3rd rounder for Dion. And then you're going to go, well, wait a minute, the draft's only 2 rounds. And you're going to go, yeah, exactly. That's what we're trying to tell you. We're not going to give you jack for the guy. That's all. Oh, look at that. They're moving the Super out. Well, they probably sold it. That's probably what it is. Oh, no, he's just putting it in another spot. That's all. You know, if you floor, you're going to leave like stains all over the tile. Oh, man. If you haven't seen one of these Supras, these things are awesome. Like a freaking rocket. I'm telling you. Big time. All right, we will have Tim Murray. He's going to join us now, actually. We're going to get in contact now with Tim Murray from NBC Sports and the Daily Line. So we'll get in contact with him. We'll get his thoughts. You know, I wonder as I haven't really wagered on the Heat. So I'm wondering what kind of a team has the Heat been against the spread? Because I don't really like to bet, definitely not against, but even for my teams, it's one of those things that kind of gets me in trouble. You know what I mean? So I kind of stay away from it. So I don't even touch the hometown lines. I haven't even thought about it that as in the season in its entirety, I wonder how the Heat have been as a point spread team. I mean, early on, they must have been great as a dog. Obviously, now Vegas is probably smartened up a little bit. One guy's asking me, would you keep the Heat roster intact until next year, except for JJ and Waiters? Yes, I would. Yeah, unless there's a monster change. That's the only way that I would do it. That's it. Do we have them? Are we ready to go?
There you go. We have Tim Murray for you, sir.
I love it. Tim Murray from the Daily Line on NBC Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at @1TimMurray. And, of course, this handicapping segment, it is your sports investment segment, and it's brought to you by Hialeah Park Casino. Go to HialeahParkCasino.com so you can get in the winning. All right, let's bring him aboard. Tim, how you doing, my brother? All right, so let me ask you, because Tim, I'm not one of those guys that likes to bet on my teams. I never bet against them, but I never like to bet with them because it's just too emotional, so I stay away from it. So I'm wondering, I haven't even thought about this until you came on now, is what is the Heat as a betting team this year? How have you enjoyed them, or have they screwed you over? How's it been? Did they surprise you early in the season? and now you know who they are. Walk us through the Heat as an investment.
They're the best team right now in the league in covering the numbers. So when you look at everyone, the Miami Heat, they are 18-9-1 against the spread, and when they're at home, they're 10-2. So, and that's just, outright we know that the Heat have been killing it at home. They're 11-1 at home on the year. But they're 10-2 in covering at home. So the Heat have been the best team in the league in covering the numbers so far. So not only are they having an exceptional season at 20-8, but look, you look at teams like the Lakers or the Bucks. I know they played tonight. Both of them have done fine against the spread, but those teams are maybe a little bit overinflated usually, especially a LeBron-led team like the Lakers, even though you look at they're doing okay against the spread this year. But the Heat right now are the number one team in covering the number at 18-9-1.
Wow, that's a great stat. That's why I was wondering. And is that because the wise guys haven't caught up to them, or is it because people are really believing in them? Which one is it?
Usually it is. I mean, it's more so the wise guys. They might be benefiting from it already, but usually when you see trends like this, now it differs. And just to kind of bring college football into the discussion, Ohio State and LSU and Clemson, the three best teams in the country, they did really well against the number, especially Ohio State and actually Clemson too towards the end, where handicappers, the guys out in the desert and wherever, New Jersey, et cetera, they just felt like we can't keep pushing this number up, and you would see these big teams get overinflated, but they would still just continue to cover the number. My hunch on the Heat would be that, I think people expect them to be good, but you still, when you think about the Eastern Conference entering this year, it was mainly the Bucks, the Sixers, the Celtics. Even though the Celtics lost Kyrie, people thought, okay, the Celtics still had a pretty high number when it came to season wins. I think the Heat have exceeded expectations, and that initial power rating, whatever it may have been for the guys out in the desert, maybe hasn't corrected enough. When you have an emergence like a guy like Bam playing the way that he is, that probably hasn't been factored in. Ultimately, it usually evens out, and you're not going to see a team just continue to cover at an insane rate. It usually kind of regresses to the mean. But as of right now, no pun intended, ride the Heater as that is the Heat, because they've been covered, especially at home.
Tim Murray, baby, from the Daily Line on NBC Sports. You can follow him on Twitter at @1TimMurray. All right, so you mentioned college football. Where are you with Clemson? Because Dabo came out with a great rant the other day on, his whole Rodney Dangerfield, we get no respect and we play nobody. But we know what Trevor Lawrence is. So you tell me, Ohio State's one of those teams that we've overrated a lot of times over the years here, and they fall short. How does this game look to you? Just Clemson is favored by 2 right now. Early line here, and over and under 63.5.
I've been on Clemson for a while, and it's not anything earth-shattering. They're just so much better than what the ACC is, and there was that moment at the end of September where Clemson almost lost to USC. USC goes for a 2-point conversion, and then everybody started to freak out and say, "Oh my God, Clemson's not that good," and then they went out and just destroyed everyone in their path. Now, we know the ACC's down this year, very down.
Yes.
Look at what Clemson did after that USC game. By the way, people talk about it like it happened in the end of October. It happened at the end of September. But after the close call with UNC, it was a 31-point win over Florida State, 35 over Louisville, the Bull team, 52 over Boston College, 45 over NC State, 49 over Wake Forest, 35 over South Carolina, and then they beat UVA in the ACC championship, 62-17. So they have been on a path to sneak and destroy. And I'm kind of with you, where I roll my eyes at what Dabo says, Clemson here. And it does get tired to us, and we can make fun of it, but I think it works for his players.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You look at the way Trevor Lawrence has been playing, these last couple of weeks. defensive talent last year, but they didn't really lose any offensive talent. Travis Etienne is back and is running, over 8 yards per clip. You look at the top receivers in T. Higgins and Justin Ross, both are exceptional athletes. So honestly, I might be higher on Clemson than both. I think all three, removing Oklahoma from the conversation, I think the top three is kind of a flip a coin. But if you had to say you had to pick one, and I did a couple weeks ago when I played a 2-1 future on Clemson, I like Clemson. I think this Clemson team has somehow, some way, from 13-0 defending champs, gone under the radar enough that I really like Clemson. And look, the Wise guys tend to like them too because at the Westgate Superbook, Ohio State opened as a short favorite, and that quickly ran to 2.5 for Clemson.
All right, LSU favored by 14 against Oklahoma and their suspended players. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the suspended players may be a little too much of a we like to find, they got suspended players, so we got to bet LSU. I feel like if people are trying to find a reason to lay that many points, if you want to lay points with LSU, lay it with LSU. Forget about the suspended players because they really aren't going to factor that much into this game. I think one guy was a situational pass rusher, like 6 or 7 sacks for Oklahoma, but Jalen Hurts is still playing in this game. All of the big boys on offense. CeeDee Lamb is still playing in this game for Oklahoma. I laid it with LSU very early. It continues to steam up. My worry, if you want to lay the lumber with LSU, is this. Last year, we saw Alabama jump out to a 21-0 lead over Oklahoma in the first quarter. And what happened? You got the backdoor cover from Oklahoma. They ended up losing by 11. So I think the best plan of attack right now would be to, you can think about the over. That's a ton of points there at 76. I would lean over. There's actually people playing the under. They think it's too many points, but I think this is going to be a shootout. And if you like in-game betting, I'm not the biggest in-game better, especially when we're talking about all of this. If you want to lay the lumber now, but I would look at an early line in that game because I anticipate LSU to come out and just start trying to light up the scoreboard. And then you have to remember this is not the final game for the winner. So if LSU's up big, are they going to want to continue to hammer it home, or are they want to take their foot off the gas a little bit because they know in 2 weeks they're going to be playing for the national championship? So I think when we get to 14, I would think hard about Oklahoma just because that backdoor capability from a really talented offense is there.
Do you like the over in this game? It's 76. I know. That's when you said explosive offense, I go, okay, he's going to like my next question. Because that's the one that when I look at this game, I'm like, I know it's 76, but dude, I think I know LSU is going to light up Oklahoma because nobody plays defense in that entire conference. And again, Oklahoma's got a damn good offense. I figured they're going to put some points on. I like the over in this one, dude.
I think the casual better is going to look at the Big 12 championship and say, Oklahoma can't score. They didn't score the Big 12 championship. Right. Baylor has the best defense in the Big 12.
Right.
And Georgia has one of the best defenses in the country, and that really didn't slow down LSU all that much. So I just feel like you're going to get and remember, this is going to be indoors. It's going to be in Atlanta, so there's no potential of weather. It's going to be 72 and no wind.
And Timmy, one more thing. The LSU defense has not been as dominant lately either.
No, it hasn't.
So
I feel like they came out against Georgia and they wanted to prove a point. But this is going to be a game where, and you know what? Think about it this way. Let's be honest. Who wants to sit back on December 28th, want to kick your feet up with your boys, you're watching this game, you're like, you know what, I really hope there's no. So I think just for entertainment purposes, it's going to be more fun to put a little cash on the over this week.
Follow him on Twitter, by the way, at @1TimMurray and catch the Daily Line on NBC Sports. All right, so Bills, Pats. Brady has not looked the same. The offense doesn't look like much. The Bills' defense is pretty decent. Pats are favored by 6.5. How do you feel about that Saturday matchup?
Let's go check on this car. Maybe you can question him.
No, I know the car. It's right there. I know. Hey, what's this? It's a live show?
All right, Dolphins and Bengals, baby. That's going to be a sizzler between the two teams fighting for bad picks here. So what do you think, Tim? What happens here? It's picking, and the over and under is 46 points in this game. What happens? I figured I'd mess with you by giving you that last game there, because obviously, I mean, right. Right. I think they're going to actually win the game, but I got to be honest with you, Tim, all right? Just to be objective about all of this, okay? You're sitting somewhere in Chicago or in Texas, and you're betting on Dolphins and Bengals. I really think you need help already at this point. I really think you got to go to Gamblers Anonymous at this point. Because, I mean, seriously, dude, there's got to be a roach race somewhere in the house that's going to be a lot more entertaining than Cincinnati and Miami, right? I mean, you could find two roaches, put some money on there, and it'll be at least, more intriguing than that game. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Yes. No, I'm with you. You're just so much better. Go to a strip club, get a friction dance. At least there you go. You get some excitement out of it. You get a little thrill and something you won't get from that game. So I'm with you all the way there. No doubt about it. Follow my man Tim Murray on Twitter at @1TimMurray. Catch the Daily Line on NBC Sports. Tim, thank you for taking some time, my man. I look forward to doing it again. You got it. Appreciate it. There you go. Tim Murray. Good stuff there. Dougie Fresh, I know. I'm sorry. We've been having some snafu with our camera and all that, and we tried to rig it today where you could hear the interviews because the last couple of days we've had trouble with the Mevo thing. So we gotta fix that whole issue. Hopefully it'll be fixed by tomorrow because I'm getting really tired of all of this already. So we will fix it. I'm sorry. And when we have Michelle on later on, you will not be able to hear her either. I tried to put the speaker there or the headphone there on the thing, but it apparently, I think it was Jay that said it was really hard to hear him. So I took it off. I figured it wasn't helping you guys to hear the interview. So I am sorry about that. But you can catch that interview on the podcast so you can hear the whole thing. Okay, because that's kind of what it's all about. I just wish we could have fixed this thing, and we're dying to get through this issue here. Hopefully, in the next day, we'll. In other words, tomorrow at Hialeah Park, hopefully everything's fixed, and we're on YouTube, and we can move on and rock and roll with you all out there. All right, let's take a break. We're at the top of the hour. Michelle Kaufman will join us at 2:00. We will take your questions out there. If you want to send them in on the chat board, you can do that. You want to send them in on Twitter at Big O Show, on the accidentlawfirm.com text line 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that was our investment segment brought to you by Hialeah Park Casino. Go to HialeahParkCasino.com. We will be there tomorrow, rocking and rolling and having some fun and having a good old time like we always do there. Let me tell you a little bit about Pallet Rack City because everybody loves a great rack, right? I mean, don't you love a great rack? When you walk in, don't you want to see a great rack? So when you go to the warehouse, you want to see everything organized. That's why you want to call Pallet Rack City, folks. They are your one-stop shop for all of your warehouse needs. If you're a business owner right now, your warehouse needs some organizing. Hey, they buy and sell new and used pallet racking. They have the largest used racking inventory in South Florida, man. They've got, it's warehouse after warehouse after warehouse. Go see Eddie Pereira and all the great people out there at Pallet Rack City. They also sell used forklifts and dock equipment, and they specialize in knockdown and installations of your warehouse equipment. And they also sell pallet jacks, hand trucks, dock boards, and most packaging supplies. That's why you want to call Eddie at 305-887-9212. That's 305-887-9212 for Pallet Rack City.
Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. All 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when you and you. 50% less. Real 2019 RAV4, not 3,019, 775. Real 2019 Camry LE, not 26,000, 17,775. Real 2019 Corolla LE, not 20,012. 775, up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood. The number one volume Toyota dealer based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 for SCT. Off 41 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can get covered by the insurance. Up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, you'll try to save $1 by taking cash instead of going to the app. I'm a current popular to be rolling my eggs. We're going to go through the process.
Upside down. Try to concentrate. Not by your bank. The loan process. Call 561-127. Act now while big rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Cocaine. Without non-equal health care.
What do you?
Cover the steering wheel.
Hey, songs. Get them off the chip. Wow.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rocking and rolling here. Coming to you live, baby, from, of course, Toyota of Hollywood. We do it every once a month here, every Thursday. But this is the last time we do it once a month because starting in January, every Thursday right here at Toyota of Hollywood. So you can catch us every Thursday now here at Toyota of Hollywood starting in January. So we'll be having some fun out here every Thursday. You know, I gotta maybe I get a little Subways on the way home there since they got the Subways in the house. Get a little sandwich on the way home. I think that sounds like a little bit of a plan. They got what else do they have here? They have the Subways, and then they got that pizza joint, right? What's the name of that pizza joint that's here?
The Italian place.
Okay, nice.
Well, it is. It's not just pizza, man. Hold on.
Well, it's they do have it's. I mean, this place is ginormous. So they have so many people here that they've got to have like places to eat. So they've got a couple of spots, and they've got some Italian place here where they sell some pizza. Yeah, and so I don't know the name of it because I've never even heard of the place. But obviously, Subway's is the one that's the popular one.
That would be a DeLuca's.
That's what it's called, DeLuca's. All right, there you go. First time I've ever seen a DeLuca's.
It's not bad. It's
Okay.
good.
Yeah. All right. Dougie Fresh says, "You are good. I'm still watching and listening. I appreciate that, Dougie. Thank you very much. We're sorry about the stuff with the interviews the last couple of days. Trust me, and nobody's more frustrated than I am with all this stuff going on and Meebo causing a mess for us. So we had to kind of adjust to all of this, and we've been able to do it at least. And so we appreciate those of you that have been hanging in there with us. So we've got Star Wars today, The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know how many of you are going to go see it. Don't tell me a damn thing about it because I don't want to find out. I'm going to see if maybe I go this weekend, go in the afternoon somewhere. I'm off on Saturday and Sundays now. I'm just watching games and stuff like that. Although I don't know, do I work this weekend? I'm serious. I know I work today, but I don't know when I work again. I know I work multiple times this month. Oh yeah, I don't work again till the 23rd. So that won't be till what? That's like Tuesday, right? Is that the 23rd, right? Something like that. So yeah, that's today. I don't work till the 23rd. Okay, so over the weekend, I got to go see Rise of Skywalker. I could go tonight, but that would be then I'm like a zombie tomorrow at Hialeah Park. But anyway, I'm kind of a zombie today as it is with the day I had yesterday. With the Rise of Skywalker, the one thing that it reminds me of, and it's when we talk about movie franchises, and I was thinking about this, and I'm sure a lot of you that are my age or older, you've thought about this. This thing started in the 70s, man, and it's still going, and it's going like strong, big time. And I'm thinking of the Rise of Skywalker now, right? And I start thinking about the lines back in the 70s and early 80s when I was a kid, when these movies would come out. I remember when the first one came out, I know I saw it in Miracle Theater on Coral Way, and I remember the line was wrapping around the block for that. And I remember, I think Empire Strikes Back, I might have seen it in Dadeland. Okay, and it was also a big-ass line also to get into it. And now you don't even get that anymore because now you get to order your tickets. We've got assigned seating, all of those things. But I'm thinking about this. Is there another movie franchise that's had this kind of an impact? Maybe Harry Potter to a generation, but Star Wars is multiple generations. And the generation you hit that was a child, like myself, in the mid-70s, that I'm a kid, you have carried me all the way now to my 50s. And I'm still watching. And I'm still a fan. And I'm still buying stuff that's, Star Wars related and things like that. Our country has never had a connection to a movie franchise like this. There have been some other great ones, a lot of great ones, right? That have transitioned like this from generation to generation to generation. Man, it does not exist. That's kind of been really, really cool about all of this. Because watching The Rise of Skywalker, it's amazing that you're approaching 50 years of a franchise that has been front and center in every part of our society, whether it's on TV, movies, games, whatever, social media, pop culture, you name it, it's been a part. You go to an arcade and you'll see a Star Wars, pinball machine or something. It's just been a part of everything of our society amusement parks have Star Wars rides and all that stuff. I mean, it's just everybody wants to be associated with that franchise. And it doesn't matter if you're Burger King or McDonald's or whatever. It's just, it really is amazing how they've been able to just connect with so many different people over the years. Pretty cool. So that's one of the things that I was thinking about when I was watching Rise of Skywalker. It's like, man, I'm 53, and since I was a child. Okay, because when the first one came out, is it 77 or 76?
It was supposed to come out in 76. It actually was released, I think it was May
77?
77. Yeah.
Okay, so
it was supposed to be out in 76, but it was May 77.
So I was 11 years old when the first one came out. And now from 11 to 53, 42 years later, I'm still just as giddy about it as I was then, just excited about it as I was then. And, you know, whether the reviews are good or not, listen, whatever. I'll check it out myself. And then I'll figure it out. I know that some of the reviews haven't been there so far. I have not seen one that says this is the best ever. This is one of the best. This is great. It's been not that good. We'll see. I'll check it out. But I am looking forward to it. Won't see it tonight, but I will see it over the. Do you plan on seeing it over the weekend?
No, I'm usually the guy that waits 2 or 3 weeks, and there's nobody there.
Right.
I go at like 11 or 12 at night, and I'm like.
I'm thinking of going. You think it'll be packed on Saturday afternoon? Early?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the first weekend, right? Yeah, you're probably right.
This thing's going to be packed for the first 2 or 3 weeks. I may have to wait a month.
But usually you can sneak in on a early afternoon and see some of these movies. But the Star Wars thing is such a fanatical thing that maybe you're right. Maybe this whole maybe the first couple of weekends it'll still be crazy right from the first showing to the last one.
Remember, this is also the last one, so.
You believe that?
Oh no!
There'll be spin-offs.
This is the last of the series.
Yes.
This finishes the book.
But they'll continue. They gotta.
Like I said, if they ever do, from the time that Darth Vader is Darth Vader till 18 in the New Hope, I want to see Darth Vader kicking everybody's butt.
Oh, how he became Darth Vader.
No. Right when he comes out. Padme, she can't. I would. No. I want to see from there to when we hook up with Luke and Leia in New Hope. I want to see the evil empire, my guy, Darth Vader,
you saw
everybody's butt.
Well, Rogue One was right before New Hope.
It is right, yes.
Because that's how they get the plans.
The best scene ever, in my opinion, Star Wars. That scene of Darth Vader down that wall.
That Rogue One was really, really good. I really enjoyed that one.
To me.
Yeah.
Obviously, being Darth Vader, lover. Empire 1 and Rogue 1 is number 2.
Yeah.
As far as that I was really impressed with Rogue.
Ian in Brooklyn, he says, it's a work in progress. We understand. Yes and no. Okay? Because it's not us. That's the thing. It's all Mevo that's created this mess. So, it's either that or we've got to figure out maybe a better camera system than Mevo. That's all. Maybe we just got to bump Mevo, because if it's going to screw us over like this for a couple of days, I am not happy, because I can't have this happen again. No way. I get it when there's no internet and the internet's weak and that kind of stuff. That's out of our control, out of anybody's control. But that's not the case. This is some technical snafu, Ian. So yeah, it's a mission. Unfortunately, I wish it didn't look like it was a work in progress, because it has nothing to do with that. Unfortunately, because it's not us. If it was us, we'd be fine. We'd be back on. We would have never been off, actually, which is really the key. The Jags, they fired Tom Coughlin, and this has got that had to have been a hard situation for Shad Khan, the owner. The right thing to do, don't get me wrong, and it's in a way the Jags kind of remind me of us as Dolphins. And we live in this proverbial, fishbowl, as they say, of the past. We're constantly reliving the undefeated teams. Like they're going to be celebrating them this weekend in the Cincinnati game. And it's great to celebrate them and Shula and their accomplishments and all of that. But the sad part is, as an organization, we kind of live in the past. And that happens to a lot of people, happens to businesses, it happens to teams, that they're trying to recapture that magic. And Washington once brought back Joe Gibbs. And I think he even made the playoffs that first year or second year with Washington, which was a miracle under Dan Snyder. But eventually it wasn't the same than what they were used to with Joe Gibbs, because Joe Gibbs was obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time in NFL history. And as I've told you before, I think Joe Gibbs has the greatest accomplishment in NFL history, 3 Super Bowls with 3 different quarterbacks. That tells me you are an incredible head coach when you can do that. And not one of them really a Hall of Famer, which is pretty amazing. But Jags bringing back Tom Coughlin is living in the past. And look, the Rams went back into the past when they brought back Dick Vermeil. Now, it wasn't their past, that was the Eagles' past. But they were hoping that they could capture some of the magic that he had from the Eagles. And eventually, it was even more than that. It ended up being a title. But more often than not, when you live in the past and you are the Dolphins and you're constantly talking about, the undefeated season or the Marino years, because it's all we have, it's hard to build that future. And the Jags thought that they could build the future by recapturing the past of the 90s with Tom Coughlin. And that Tom Coughlin in that era ran its course. And they brought him back now, and he thought he could also bring back the way he did things. And I'm sure a lot of you got to see the article on the NFLPA that was warning players about going to Jacksonville, that to stay away from Jacksonville because of all the fines. And they fined one player, I think it was Dante Fowler. They fined him up to $700,000 for what they call was mandatory treatments that weren't mandatory. And so Tom Coughlin had his regular, hard-ass ways. So the NFLPA says you as players may want to consider this when you have a chance to select your next club. They said, and the NFLPA wrote this. It said, on Monday, the NFLPA levied the latest salvo in what's been yet another season to forget, revealing that an arbiter ruled that the franchise had improperly required players to rehab off-season injuries at the team's facility and fined players who didn't. Such off-season appointments are strictly voluntary, with limited exceptions under the NFL collective bargaining agreement. The NFLPA is now taking the extraordinary steps of advising players to be wary of signing with the Jags, considering that more than 25% of the total grievances filed by the NFL players over the past 2 years were against that one team. U.S. players may want to consider this when you have a chance to select your next club, the union wrote to players. One player alone was fined 25 times more than $700,000 for missing rehab appointments. The NFLPA said in the letter, through the union, it didn't name the player, Dante Fowler Jr. Now the Rams, after midseason trade in 2018, seem to suggest on Twitter that it was him. So they put it on Twitter, whatever. So Coughlin has been the executive in charge during all of this. And I think Shad Khan at first probably didn't want to make the changes, didn't want to have to fire the guy, that brought so much great history to the franchise back in the 90s when they made the AFC Championship game, when actually the Jags were that was a heck of a team, man. That team was loaded. Hardy and all those guys, that was a badass team in Jacksonville. And it's one of those things that you don't want to do, but I got to commend Shad Khan here because it had to have been tough that you're going to crap on the past in a way by firing the guy, but you had to do it. His time came and went. And apparently there were some reports that he was going to step down anyways. But Shad Khan didn't want to wait for that and said, you know what? And after you find out about this from the NFLPA, you got to do something, man. Because all of a sudden now you're sending messages to NFL players. You don't want to go there. And remember, you're Jacksonville. Okay? And I know we kind of took a shot at Cleveland's nightlife yesterday. Well, I'll take a shot also at Jacksonville. Been to both places. Okay? Not a place that you're really going to be bragging and hanging out about their nightlife. I mean, nightlife and Jacksonville is kind of an oxymoron. Nightlife and Cleveland, kind of an oxymoron. Nice towns, great people, all that good stuff. But when it comes to sexy town, no. Not at all. And so if you're Jacksonville and you're not a sexy destination as it is, you don't want this. As the youngins would say, you don't want that smoke.
There's some cuties, though.
People are great.
Some real.
No, people are. I've been to Jacksonville several times, dude.
Last time
people are super cool. No, super cool.
Yeah.
No, I've always had a good time when I go to Jacksonville. People are really nice. All of that. I have no problem with Jacksonville. But it's not the nightlife place, dude.
It doesn't compare to here.
No, it doesn't compare to here or New York or Chicago or LA or San Francisco or Atlanta or Houston or Dallas or, major cities.
Nonetheless, when we were there the last time, a lot of eye candy. A lot of little cuties.
All right. Good. Nice that you noticed the cuties, and the people are really nice people. I've been there several times. I got no problem with Jacksonville. But for NFL players, for NBA players, for people like that, of that ilk, that have, money, and because of that disposable income, they want to enjoy life, this is not the destination you really pick. If you're picking Jacksonville, it's because they've got a great team. You want to win, and you're sacrificing because you're going to live there for a few months, and then you're going to go back to your regular hometown, wherever it is. But if you don't have a great team, and you're being jerks with the players, and your town isn't necessarily a sexy... See, like Miami was the reverse. People were coming to play for the Dolphins, but not because they wanted to win. They knew the team sucked. They came because it's a great city and no tax state. So you had the bang bang. Oh, I can enjoy South Beach. I can enjoy Las Olas. I can enjoy the Keys. I can enjoy boating. I can have a great time in South Florida. Yeah, I know the team sucks, but who cares? I'm getting paid. And it's a no tax state. Great. It's the reverse than Cleveland in Miami. That's, the Heat, no. The Heat is great city, great organization, great owner. I got the whole combination. And that's what you're trying to achieve. But in Jacksonville, you'll never achieve great city because those young guys that got money, they'll never look at that as a sexy. Look at the NBA. The NBA free agency, it's mostly the big cities that are scoring. Why? Because those players, they want to play in cities that are sexy, man. It's what it is. So if you're going to suck, at least be sexy. Well, Jacksonville is not going to be sexy. You cannot be a jerk either with your players. That's not going to fly. There's no way that would end up working out. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. That's 786-322-1105 on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. As we take you till about 2:30, 3 o'clock after we talk to Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald and get the latest on Inter Miami. Still no coach. And I think we're still awaiting officially on everything else for the international players. And I know they've got several players signed, but we're also waiting everything else too, right? So we'll see what happens there. And we'll talk to Michelle about that and a couple of other things Inter Miami related. Dougie Fresh says, I saw the woman who plays Ray in an interview and she is smoking. The force is strong with that one. I got to tell you something. Yeah, she is really pretty. I've never seen her with her hair down. I wonder how she looks because it's always picked up, and she looks good even with her hair picked up. I would imagine with her hair down, she must look really good. But here's what I'll say about this. Forget about the attractive part about it. I like her character. She has developed into one of my favorite characters in the entire Star Wars series. You know, Han Solo will always be my guy. That's like my favorite character of them all in Star Wars. But I will say Rey has grown a lot. I really like her, and they did a great job of casting her because she has developed into this role and fits like a glove. I think it's fantastic. But yeah, she is a pretty girl. I will give you that. No doubt about that. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the show, we do want to remind you tomorrow we're going to be at Hialeah Park, and the National Horse Players Championship is coming to Hialeah Park January 12th on a Sunday. Bill and I, by the way, are going to be broadcasting out there on that Sunday for a couple of hours. We're going to be doing it out there while you guys are wagering. And if you want to be a part of it, hey, man, $10,000 will be awarded on site. $5,000 for first place, $2,500 for second place, $1,500 for third. Fourth place gets $1,000, and the grand prize, you get one NHC seat in Las Vegas for the finals on February 7th through the 9th, and that'll be at Bally's. That'll all happen at Hialeah Park. Go to the website, HialeahParkCasino.com.
Subject to change it without notice equal housing levy MLS 1220. No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com and do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Business Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Grab more. Not 30,000. 19,775. Up to 2019. Cabriolet. 26,000. 17,775. Up to 2019. Corolla LE. 22,000. 12,775. And to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood. Retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 for SET. On 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sherman Street. Open until midnight.
I guess. It's 1841 State Road 7.
Yes, sir.
No north south. State Road 7.
What's up? So it is 07441.
Right.
Entonces, Neri, ¿cómo vamos? Bien.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Bill, as always, driving the program, getting it done here on the show. If you guys want to get in, it's really simple, man. All you got to do is dial on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. Drew Bow says, I'm really concerned about Howard's knee injury or knee surgery. I think at this point, you should be. I think it's normal. Now, that doesn't mean that, look, he's had a couple of procedures. They might have been just cleanup jobs. The question is, and he clearly wasn't himself towards the end of the year, not towards the end of the year, towards the end of his run this year. And you could tell that the knee was bothering him. And obviously they had to shut him down. And he's having another procedure again. The thing, Drew Bow, is, or Drew Boo, I think it says there, you're right to be concerned. The problem is, how far do we go with that concern? And that's the part that you don't know and I don't know, because maybe it's a minor thing and maybe it's something that he could easily play through and it's not going to be an issue for the next few years and he'll be just fine. Then again, maybe it's something chronic. Maybe it's some kind of itis, tendonitis, arthritis, whatever itis there is out there. And maybe that's going to be a problem down the line for him. And then all of a sudden now it'll be a thing that will limit him and he will no longer be the dominant player that he has been in the past for the Miami Dolphins. That's the part that we don't know when it comes to X. And that's where only time can answer that. And if next year training camp rolls around and he looks good and he's flowing and everything's fine, then we'll be all right. If we start seeing some setbacks, if we start seeing a guy that needs a lot of rest because they're trying to protect him, then we know that there's a big problem there. But at the moment, we don't know. So we can't overreact one way or the other, because obviously the one thing that's going to come up right away is going to be, well, wait a minute, you gave him a big contract. You didn't know that this knee was going to be a big issue, and that's going to be the question. So this year was not important because the big picture is you know he's part of your future, but it wasn't like you needed him on the field right now to get into the playoffs or do anything significant this year. You weren't going to do anything significant this year. You know that. So it behooves you to actually put him on the IR, get him the scope, the clean, whatever it is, so he can feel better next year. The worst thing you wanted to do, which they tried to allow him to play through it, and he couldn't play through it. So clearly it tells you that it was bothering him. Now, guys, I don't know if it's, a piece of cartilage that got in the way, a small meniscus tear. I don't know if it's a major tear. I have no idea. I have no idea if they took out a whole chunk of what's that called in the knee, that the cartilage. I have no idea. That you don't know, I don't know. So we have no way of knowing how to react to all of this, because there's been plenty of guys that have had several scopes and cleanup jobs throughout their careers and had a full career and were solid and were great and fantastic, and they got by. And that's the part that is unanswered. We don't know how serious this X injury is, even if it is serious. Now, you do have to wonder a little bit and say, okay, there's something going on here, because he's had a couple of procedures. So there is definitely reason to be concerned. Let's just hope that it's not a big concern, and let's hope that it's something that he can overcome. That's all. That's the way I would look at it. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the show. The other way to reach out to us is on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there. And Instagram, Big O Radio Show. I thought it was pretty cool with the Heat game last night when Spo talked about the challenge of the young guys and how they didn't play well in Memphis and they were able to bounce back. And we talked a little bit about the character and the culture and everything else that they're proving on a consistent basis. And the beauty also we talked about is that the road win last night against Philadelphia proves that they're the real deal. And some people were a little disappointed that they lost to Memphis, but I mean, you're going to drop a couple of those. What you can't make it is a habit, and that's something that they haven't made a habit. You know what they also haven't made a habit of? You know that this team is 8-0 after a loss this year. It's pretty amazing, because you're talking about a team that is very young in certain areas, inexperienced in others. You don't have a lot of veterans that have been there and done it. And yet they have the maturity of a team that plays like they've been in the league for 10 years. The young guys pass the ball. The young guys play with heart. The young guys actually try on defense. The young guys are actually coachable. That's another thing kudos to them. And listen, they dealt with plenty of players like Whiteside and Dion that probably are not coachable. But when you're 8-0 after a loss this year already, that shows me that you're extremely mature to identify your struggle that night, correct the issues, because that's what Spo talked about, that, Phil, they took it hard on them. They had a long film session. And I wonder how long that film session was. One time I was in LaSalle covering the Miami Heat. And that's where their practice court was, LaSalle High School down in by the Grove. And we were there, I crap you not, okay? We were there for 6 hours. 6 hours. Practice lasted a quarter of a day. We all pitched in. and sent somebody to Cazola's to go buy several pizzas for all the media members because everybody put in a couple bucks. Cazola's was right down the street. I forgot which media member went to a couple of them actually went to go get those big giant pizzas, complete pizzas from Cazola's, and dude, it was like a 3-hour practice and a 3-hour film session. Like Riley was pissed. And I don't think Spo was kind of Riley pissed after, I don't know what happened at that time, why he was pissed or whatever, and why they had those long sessions. I'm sure it had to do with some kind of disappointing loss that he hated, but whatever. But the fact is, Spo ripped into these guys. And for them to take in the criticism and for these young guys, along with the veterans, to bounce back, I mean, think about this. Only the Lakers and Milwaukee are the only other teams this season that have not suffered back-to-back losses. How awesome is that? I mean, last night, 76ers get out to that lead. Miami answers back. They end the first half with this incredible run. And yeah, Philly got it close towards the end, but they never, ever took the lead in the second half. That no matter what charge they made, the Heat answered back. The Heat kept them at bay. Again, maturity. To be able to understand what you did the other night and then come back. And I read this to you before, but I didn't get into it as much. For Tyler Hero, a young guy like this that can shoot lights out, to end up with 9 points and then 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal, man, I can't say enough about that kid. That's incredible. That's a coach all over your ass saying, yo, you're not just the shooter, dude. You can do other things, and we need you to do other things. And that's a good thing about this team, whether it's Hero, whether it's Kendrick Nunn, whether it's Carlos Silva. It doesn't matter who's out there. They understand that they're not a physical team, so they will help out their bigs with rebounding. And they're helping out their team with defense. And when you can get that kind of maturity from these cats at this age, priceless, man. Priceless. And just impressive as hell to be able to see what's going on with the Miami Heat this season. 20-8, 9-7 now on the road. I mean, that's just absolutely phenomenal. All right, Panthers are off tonight. A little Oki. Tomorrow night, they will take on Dallas. The homestand continues. If I'm correct, I think are they 4-4 now in the homestand, I want to say? Or 5-4. Not sure now.
If I had to guess, I'd say 4-4.
Okay.
Those 3 losses in a row, man.
Oh, terrible.
Still
terrible. And they had a great night the other night. I mean, they were red hot.
Yeah, but you were playing nobody.
I know, but still, I got to give them a little love.
It was nice to score some
nice.
goals. Yes.
Now you got now you got Dallas. That will not be easy. And it's still at the BB&T Center, but you're not dominating either there. And I'm with you. Look, I was happy with the win, but I did not get excited because I said, hey, you got to do a lot more to get me excited now. Now I don't know if you're tricking me now. Now I get excited about this, and then you slap me with a loss. And so I get where you're coming from on that one.
Well, we had talked about it. We have always been in the 8, 9, 10, 11. Looking, that's where we are. And the thing about it is Tampa, Boston, Islanders. Those are, along with Washington, the top teams in the East.
The creme de la creme.
And they smacked us.
Yeah.
Which means that we're not there. We're not even.
Well, it did beat Tampa
once.
Okay.
And that was
here
a while ago.
Yeah, it was the answer back.
What was it? The second game of the season?
Yeah, it was the second. It was the back-to-back.
It's a situation. Those 3 games, losing those games, all the wonderful stuff we had done.
Oh no, they
got
ruined it all.
wiped out.
Yeah, they ruined it all. They ruined
We're
everything.
back on the outside looking in.
Yeah. They sadly they ruined everything they did at the beginning of the season. Nobody can argue that. It's just impossible to argue that.
It's disheartening because we're right where we normally are.
Yeah.
At this point in the season.
Yeah. I don't think anybody can argue that one, man. Unfortunately, it's frustrating. It really is.
Yeah.
And I thought we were gonna have, because it looked. You know what? I'm still gonna give the Panthers a little hope here in the end, but it was looking like, okay, the basketball team has surprised us. The hockey team's doing well to start off. Hey, we're gonna have a really good winter sports. That's really what it looked like. It looked like that's what we were headed to. And then look what ends up happening. Now the Panthers take all these steps back. The Heat continue to take steps forward, actually, because last night's win that's what it was. It was proving, it's sending out a message. Yo, we're for real. We're for real. Okay? We're for real. You don't take us serious, we'll kick your ass. And that's basically what the Heat said to the NBA last night. Hey, just want to remind you, we're 20-8. We're the third best team in the conference right now. Milwaukee and Boston are the only teams in front of us. So look out. And you better. And we're getting that now from people around the league now. Now they're starting to say, hey, that Miami team is for real.
The thing that I like, we're the only team to go into their place and kick them around.
Yeah, Milwaukee, Toronto, and Philly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
That is so impressive.
Yeah. Super impressive. Yeah.
It gives me hope, really and truthfully. I mean, we know that in a 7-game series, a 5-game, it's a different animal. It's not one game. But the fact that you were able to go to their place and beat them, it gives me some hope that, you know what, we might be able to hold our own, man.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe.
Just the fact that we're the only ones who have gone to their place, it's got a lot of validity to it, man.
Yeah. No, I get it. There's no doubt about that. Let me tell you a little bit about Caneswear. We love talking about Caneswear, Miami Fanwear. That's the spot where fans like moi shop. We love talking about Brett and all the amazing people there at Caneswear, folks. And it's more than a store, okay? It's an experience because when you go there, and if you're a Canes fan, you're going to see everything and anything possible with a Canes logo. They've also got Inter Miami. They got the shirts. They've ordered the jerseys. So when they do come out, they're going to have 2,000 jerseys. They've got Dolphins, Miami Heat, Florida Panthers, and even Miami Marlins there at Caneswear, Miami Fanwear. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you they're going to take care of you. Go see Brett and all the amazing people out there. Tell them that Big O sent you. Caneswear, Miami Fanwear. That's the spot for fans like moi shop.
Man, I'm so far behind. It's not even funny.
No one expects to get
You're your best. You're your best, bro. That's all.
It's like
You're
ridiculous.
fun.
driver you can that you can be covered by the insurance.
She's sexy.
Huh?
She's sexy.
Yeah. Man, I think there's
Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. All 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer. Any offer.
You know, it's a big deal for us because it's not like we're out of the studio every day. So
No.
we'll be here every day.
No, it's
To
awesome.
develop this kind of relationship with them.
For sure.
Now it's like, well, shoot it. You get 800 from Heidi, you get 400 from me. If we can do the same thing,
Yeah. No, it's good.
it's good money just out of three. And then everything else becomes.
It's good.
Now I gotta work on it. I gotta call this shit. You know what? I'm just gonna offer Larry the same thing. Say, hey, speak it that way. That's it. And then we'll have 3 of the 5 days set.
No.
Tell me when you got Michelle.
Michelle, how you doing? It's Phil. Very good. You ready to join us? Give me 1 second. We'll get you up. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Hold on.
All right, we've hit the 2 o'clock hour here at beautiful Toyota of Hollywood. Come on out, baby. 1841 North State Road 7. Just a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar. Come on out here. Get yourself a new Toyota like I did yesterday. All right, let's talk to Michelle Kaufman. We do it every week here on the program. And, of course, our Inter Miami report. Michelle does an excellent job covering Inter Miami and many other things for the Miami Herald. You can follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports. Michelle, how are you doing? Well, that's an alarm that's going off, and I think we're trying to find the key for the alarm so we can turn it off, and then we can do the broadcast without an alarm. Well, they're celebrating the new schedule for Inter Miami right now. They're honking because they know that Inter's going to bring the cup home in 2020, baby. That's what it's all about. It's a beautiful thing. So they've got the schedule out. I know that in the schedule they're opening up against Los Angeles. What more can you tell us about the schedule? Why are we such wimps? Why are we such? What's the big deal? I mean, give me a break. I know. Neither do I. What's the big deal? And you and I come from way south. What's the big deal? Yeah. Yeah, of course. But I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal if you got to go a couple of Wednesdays up there. Come on. It's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. I do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? I don't. Oh, damn it. The rain. You got me on the rain. I can't argue with you anymore. We can't have this discussion anymore. You won. All righty. I'm done. No, you know why? Because you know why? You know why? Because I want you to use the heat to your advantage. That's why. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, it didn't. Nice. Okay. Okay. Right. The turnpike tussle. The turnpike tussle. Now, wait a minute. So, is this the league anticipating that they're going to be really good and they're spending money and all of that? Because that's kind of odd that an expansion team would have that much exposure, or is that normal? You tell me. It is. Wow. Yeah. Well, I would imagine, Michelle, they know that because of Beckham's connections, Moss's money, right? And then you add what was the other thing that I was thinking of with the other element of this team? There's three. Oh, and then the city itself being, you know, a place that internationally these players, especially from Central and South America, would love to play anywhere in the country. They'd rather play here than anywhere else in the U.S. All right. Any news on players or coach? Okay. How about practice? Have they told you or told anybody yet, or you're hearing where the practices are going to be held? I know it's going to be in multiple places, but have they told you where those multiple places are yet?
We'll come back with the white.
Well, maybe we'll do it Tuesday. Maybe we'll do it Tuesday. Well, you haven't vacation. They made you stay from Halloween till now. You haven't been able to vacate. Come on. Dedication is amazing. Where are you vacating to? Nice. Oh yeah, please. Drink in hand, hanging out by. Do you gamble? Do you do a little blackjack, craps? What do you do? Any kind of gambling? Ah, okay. Does Dave play poker? Okay, because I could see him actually kicking everybody's ass in poker, making everybody laugh, get their minds off the game, and then he's just smoking you just the entire time. You know how Dave would dominate the table, and then he'd get everybody's attention. Then they're not paying attention to the cards, and he's walking away with all the chips. I'm telling you. Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever watch the show How I Met Your Mother? Well, I'm forgetting her name now, the one with the red hair, but she was also in Buffy. But anyway, a scene where it was actually a two-parter where they were out for a wedding, and she said, well, while I'm there for the whole weekend, I want a drink in hand. And so throughout the whole 2 shows for those 2 weeks, she would just take out her left hand, and out of nowhere, a hand would come out and hand her a drink. That's what needs to happen to you throughout the entire book. Every time Michelle takes out her hand, the mysterious hand comes out with a drink and just hands it to you. And that's it. You're oh. All right, so then water, then, I guess. Plenty of water. Hydration. No, you got to do that. You got, yeah. The best thing about those cruises is when you get the unlimited pass for drinks, and you only buy one because you can actually get it for you and Dave. You know what I'm saying? You take turns with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's we got one of those, and that thing was heaven. That was. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. I like that. Michelle, one more thing before I let you go. What do we know about their preseason? What kind of, are there any games, any international matches that they're friendlies like that they would bring in? What do we know about the preseason for Inter outside of training camp that we still don't know where they're going to hold those practices? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, now, one last question now for sure. Here's something that very few of us care about. I'm one of them. You're not going to get a lot of questions about this. When do we find out about the USL team, the players, the coach, the name, all that other stuff? How about for the USL team? Yeah, yeah. Is Jim Rooney still the coach in Boca? Go steal Jim Rooney, man. Bring him to the USL team. Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Nah, Ray, Ray won't do it anymore. Ray's done. Plus, that knee is giving Ray a little issue there. I don't know if Ray would enjoy pacing the sidelines at this point. But God, Ray was so good. Ray was so good, man. Best. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm with you. I cannot wait for both seasons. And you know what? I'm also excited for Miami FC being the USL. But you and me and a few other people are going to care about that. But I'm going to keep up with the USL teams too. I think it's going to be awesome that we're going to have every level of soccer here in our backyard from here on out, and we're going to have the structure that we've all been looking forward to in this country. That's the one thing that. We're finally getting there, that we finally have the model, not all the way because we don't have promotion and relegation, all that, but at least somewhat with the Division 1, 2, and 3 like type models that we see in other parts of the world. We finally have gotten to that point. No doubt. And they kept losing teams to the MLS. Follow her on Twitter at Koff Sports and catch her exceptional work, as always, at the Miami Herald website or, of course, at your doorstep. Michelle, as always, you are the best. Thank you for taking some time. You got it. All right, there you go, Michelle Kaufman. Thank you. There we go. Awesome. Michelle is great. We love having her on, and I can't wait for the soccer teams to start, because I'll be a supporter of all of them, and I'll be at all of those games. I'm probably going to have to drag Bill to some of those games because we'll do some work at some of those games. What do you think? You ready? You ready to do some soccer work? You ready?
Yeah, whatever we got to do.
That sounded, he was inspired, bro. He was pumped. Love my man, Bill. All right. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here on the show, folks. Voice is hurting. We've done about 3.5 hours, so we got to thank all of you for tuning in. We thank Tim Murray from the Daily Line and NBC Sports, Michelle Kaufman, of course, Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez, all the great people out here at Toyota of Hollywood. As always. We thank them for being big-time sponsors, making it nice and easy for us to broadcast out here every single month, starting in January, every single week. We will see you guys tomorrow at Hialeah Park, and we'll be broadcasting starting off at noon. Be good out there. See you tomorrow.
Have a good night.